The objective of tree planting is to replace the ones that are cut and to replace them. As you all know that planting is completed, the major task there how to protect them. I think it's very, very important. The association, we are behind them to give them all necessary support to make sure that the trees that are planted and they survive the sense of the planting. And tree planting is very, very important. 50 years back, we have more rain. The reason why we have more trees. Human beings, they cannot live without trees.
Amin Barrow, chairman of the Wood Exporters and Forest Users Association, is one man who is very instrumental in making the exercise a resounding success.
These youth you see in front of you are all members of the Association of the Wood Exporters. And I will assure you, for last 2 years, I cannot say it has been stopped, but it has been well minimized that you heard that Gambians are joining boat to go to Europe.
The meticulous exercise was spearheaded by members of the Forest Users Association and officials of the Forestry Ministry who were aided by young people. The Ministers of Forestry and Environment both harp on the importance of the exercise and its impact on the ecosystem.
This exercise is very important for this country. It's very important for everyone, and it's very important globally. Because if we do not do our quota, and others do not do their quota, even if they are doing their quota and we do not do our quota, we will be affected because it's global. It has no boundaries. If you plant in Kamfenda and somebody does not plant in Basse, I mean, it's the same result, we'll get the same result. So it's important, and I heard from the Director of Forestry that there's a program for the whole country from Koina to Katong, and this is very encouraging. And since you've been doing it for the past few years, I hope that this will be continuous.
Most of the trees are gone. And these are not small trees, these are not cheap trees. These used to be very expensive trees. And that's the reason I'm happy with the species of trees you've grown on this road between Kanilai and Kamfenda today. The Alcalo has mentioned it. It's easy to plant trees. Maintaining it is the problem. There was a report that was made some 6-10 years ago that said, despite all the efforts we put into tree planting every year, the survival rate at the end of the season was always less than 10%.
This recent exercise that saw the plantation of 800 mahogany seedlings will be replicated in other regions. For GRTS News, I am Fatou Jassi.
History students from the University of the Gambia have been discussing the possibility of forging socio-cultural links capable of advancing national and international development endeavors with Guinean academics and prominent officials. The discussions took place in Guinea-Conakry during a 2-week research expedition by the history class. Ibrahim Abalde picks up the rest of that story.
At this private museum in the heart of Labe, the name Kumanjo looms large in the minds of Futankas. However, she is named after Kumanjo Sane, the daughter of Janke Wali, the last king of Kabu. Meet Zainab Kumanjo Jallo, the poet and the writer who also doubles as the chief executive officer of this center, which accommodates some First and Second World War relics. The museum, which was recently established, is being viewed as a repository of the vestiges of the Kabu Empire before and after it was destroyed by an invading Fula army some 200 years back. The occasion was part of the museum's much-cherished international outreach programs to discuss contemporary issues bordering on regional integration. Professor Abdul Gudusi Jallo spent a great deal of his time studying the geography and topography of the Fouta Djallon Plateau. He suggested the need to set up a viable socio-cultural link that could serve as a strong bloc to further the interests of the Greater Senegambia sub-region.
Because of recolonization. But I think that now the new generation of researchers in history has to exhume the ancient documents to rewrite our African history. UNESCO, some years before, has given the means to rewrite African history.
Labe's beautiful landscape makes it an attracting place to see. However, to Kumanjo, there is still one place where she is longing to visit. She was quite impressed with the documentary on Janke Wali and said she would try by all means necessary to come to the Smiling Coast to write a book on her historical origins. The Gambia, she said, has untapped potentials in the area of socio-historical research.
Musidal ame wongal tongal humpito tondu yadu harasi me yehi me waɗay conférence ji me waɗay exposition me waɗay ko way wono non me yahay me waɗa causerie ji men fotta yimɓe men me yewtida e maɓɓe si men hewtita ɗo. Guinean academicians in Labe and elsewhere in the sub-region did not mince their words about the need to create a people-to-people link to complement the developments initiated by the authorities. Ibama Balde, GRTS.
Well, you can monitor GRTS radio live on our website, which is at www.grts.gm. We're going to take a short break now. Stay with GRTS.
$1,000 is cash to be won. This month, AfriCell is offering $500,000 worth of cash prizes for the subscribers that registered their lines. You heard me right. Win over $500,000 worth of cash prizes with the AfriCell Register and Win promotion.
What? Scratch and win?
It's register and win. $500,000 is cash.
Wow! $500,000 is for simply registering my AfriCell line?
That's right. Hurry up and register your AfriCell SIM card now and stand the chance of winning $500,000 is cash. Every Friday, 5 lucky AfriCell subscribers who have correctly registered their AfriCell lines will win through a live draw on GRTS TV. You can register your AfriCell SIM card at any AfriCell customer care outlet or service center or at any of the AfriCell registration points spread all over the country. Register your AfriCell line now to avoid disconnection and win $500,000 is cash with the AfriCell Register and Win promotion.
Welcome back. Mali's interim president has moved to fast-track Mali's political transition. John Kounda Traoré has announced the institution of a higher constitutional council with the appointment of 2 vice presidents. The move has effectively put the future of Prime Minister Sheikh Modibo Jara in serious doubt. But as we hear in this report, Jara says he has no intention of stepping down.
Some 48 hours after returning to Bamako, the Malian interim president has announced that fun and games are over. After 2 months in France for medical treatment and for security reasons after being attacked in Bamako, Kounda Traoré went public with a plan for new transition structures to end the current political crisis.
I am proposing to establish a higher state council, composed of the President of the Republic and 2 vice presidents, who will assist in setting up transition projects. It will be a government for the entire nation, where all its current components will be represented.
He has in fact done away with the transition period prime minister in office since this past April. Sheikh Modibo Diarra, who had raised great hopes, was increasingly in hot water in Mali and outside the country because he was unable to make clear decisions. So Kounda Traoré has taken back the government into his own hands. He will lead the meetings to form a national unity government.
He has really taken over the government. He has the power as head of state and transition president. We need to hear this kind of speech.
These are the strongest words we've heard since the beginning of the crisis in our country. There were lots of negotiations and debating back and forth. We were slipping and sliding, but with these measures from the president, the transition is back in action.
The warm welcome given by Prime Minister Diarra to President Traoré did not last long. By Saturday night, Sheikh Modibo Diarra was putting a brake on the new measures by announcing he will not step down. A new face-off for power has begun.
Namibia has been issued today in a disturbing human rights case. It involved HIV-positive women who say they were not sterilized without their informed consent. CNN's Kapil Mapuse gives the background to that story.
When I met Amelia Handumbo last year, she told me that in 2008, she was diagnosed with HIV. Thanks to anti-AIDS drugs, she gave birth to a healthy HIV-negative baby. But then the letters BTL appeared on her hospital passport. Bilateral tubal ligation is a form of sterilization. When I was in labor and about to give birth, she tells me through a translator, I was given documents to sign